like to welcome everybody to the HRO Sports Betting Podcast. This is week number 3 in the college football season, and coming off 2 really successful weeks. Well, almost 2.5 if you count week 0. And currently just on a roll and hoping to keep that up. And as we head into week 3, we've got a couple big games we want to talk to you about. The next game that we have going in the HRO Sports Betting Podcast is Michigan State at Washington. Washington is a 3.5 point favorite. The line's 56.5 on the over-under. This is going to be one of my favorite games to watch this upcoming weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. And, you know, in something like this, my initial reaction was I was kind of leaning Washington. Even being a Big Ten guy, you've got a quarterback in Penix up there in Washington who's played in the Big Ten. He's played up against Michigan State. He is not going to be intimidated whatsoever. The Huskies aren't going to be intimidated whatsoever. No. This is, and nor should they. They are a 3.5 point favorite. Michigan State is not going to be intimidated either. This is going to be another very good matchup between a Big Ten and Pac-12 school. It's, truth be told, it's right around where I think it should be with the home field advantage going to Washington, and that's really the point spread to it. I've got to see a little bit more from a Michigan State team other than beating up on teams from the MAC. And, you know, so for me, no play, but I'm very interested in this game. And once again, Penix is this is a good game for both teams because neither team can really afford to lose this one, knowing that if they have any hopes of making the football playoffs, neither team can afford to lose this one. So T, what are your thoughts on this one?
So I'll start with Michigan State. We mentioned this earlier because we've had action on Michigan State in the past.
Yep.
The loss of Kenneth Walker was a little bit very, very good player, but with who they brought in, and they had the kind of two-headed monster of Berger and Broussard, that's kind of turned into Jalen Berger, who's been very, very good for the Spartans so far this year. That the Kenneth Walker wasn't going to be as big of a loss as some people anticipated. Like I said, we talked about that weeks ago, that we both liked Berger. He's shown up and has looked really good against some lesser opponents. Western Michigan and Akron aren't Washington.
Yep.
On the other side of that, Peyton Thorne has not looked as good as I was anticipating him being so far this season. Not saying he can't turn it around, but he hasn't been quite as good. The first game, his dad was on the opposite sideline.
That makes a difference.
Well, he didn't have that against Akron. And he wasn't bad, but he wasn't real efficient. He wasn't elite, so to speak, against a lesser team.
Yeah.
Now, for Washington, we've had action on Washington, I think, both weeks. I know we had him this past week, minus like 28.5. Pretty sure we had them week 1 as well.
Yeah.
We've both been very impressed with their offense and how efficient they've been moving the football. Their defense is still good. They don't quite have the secondary that they've had in years past that has all turned into first-round draft picks, but they've got a good front seven. Their secondary is still good.
Yep.
But to me, this game comes down to one thing. Is the Michigan State secondary improved?
Yeah. They're going to be tested.
They were terrible last year. They were not good. They have not been impressive this year, even against some lesser teams. If they aren't impressive against Washington, Washington will win this football game.
Agreed.
Now, for me, just looking at, and this is why when you're handicapping, there's more to it for how I do things than just numbers.
Yep.
According to my power rankings, I've got Michigan State favored here, even on the road.
Okay.
But when you look at how they've been in teams compared to last year, I am not going to bet Michigan State on this game, strictly because I want to see their secondary against a good
against quality
passing
pass.
team
Yep.
show up and not get burned for 400 yards through the air.
And Penix is more than capable of putting in that type of
Yeah.
performance, and it's that unknown for me that keeps me away from the window on this game. You just don't.
I'm looking forward to it, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet this right now.
Tell me that Michigan State can keep Penix bottled up in the passing attack. I'm taking Michigan State all day. I think they can't control the ball on the line of scrimmage, but
I mean, I think they'll have.
Penix
I don't think they'll
can
be
be
able to run
special.
the ball necessarily against Washington's front seven. Now the play action off of that is where Michigan State was real dangerous a year ago.
Yeah.
With the play action with Kenneth Walker and then
Yeah.
throwing the football. If he hasn't been as sharp, if he's still struggling a little bit,
yeah, that'll
because you're going to
come
have to
into
put
play.
points with this
Yep.
Washington team. This is another one of those Pac-12 teams that is a good, efficient offense
Yep.
that can score.
Yep.
But I'm definitely looking forward to watching this one again. No
Yep.
play for me.
That is the end of the HRO Sports Betting Podcast show, and I'd like to thank the HRO network and organization for allowing us to stop on in and use the studio and bring sports betting to and help. I should put it this way: provide a little more knowledge on sports betting
Yeah,
for
and give
those
out
of you
plays
out there,
that
and
win.
give all plays that win. T's been hot. I gotta
It's
give him
been a good
credit.
start.
It's been a good start, and hopefully we'll continue with that. And we'll see you cashing those tickets out the window. You take care.
Yep.